I am that I am, Adamus of Sovereign Domain. Welcome to the December 2021 Shoud. Welcome each and every one of you from all around the world to this unprecedented time, to all that's going on the planet right now. It seems like just yesterday when we first gathered together after Tobias left, I came in. It seems like just moments ago, for me anyway, and how the time has flown by, how we've come to so much work that we're doing together. Let's take a deep breath with that as we begin this shout, and we're really turning another corner or coming to another point of separation in the work that we're doing. Let's take a good deep breath with that in this beautiful shout. Such a nice backdrop they've created. Beautiful stage with flowers and the trees and the teddy bears. And let's just take a good deep breath for the beauty of our gathering. These are unprecedented times indeed. For you, first of all. For Shambra, for Crimson Circle, unprecedented because this has never been done before. Never before has a group of humans across the planet been going through their realization and coming into mastery and staying on the planet. I've told a story recently in some of the Kasama gatherings of an incident that happened at the Ascended Masters Club. I'll give the brief version here. But I was at the Ascended Masters Club one night, quietly reading a book by myself, when I overheard some of the other Ascended Masters kind of talking loud enough so they knew I could hear, loud enough to irritate me to a degree. They were talking about how easy that you have it. This one Ascended Master, Sebastian, pointed out right away. He said, well, they have it so easy back there. They have all of this technology, and they gather online. Everybody in the world, around the world, can tune in together, and they have computers, and they can hop on an airplane and go to a workshop in Hawaii. They have all these conveniences. And when we were coming into our realization, we didn't have all these things. We struggled on our own. We had to do it by ourselves. We didn't know there was another group. We didn't have ascended masters that were giving us channeled messages. We had it so difficult. And they kind of carried on about this. I'm finally put my book down and just sat and listened for a moment. My anxiety and irritation building at this. And one of the other ascended masters, they said, yeah, they've got it so easy. And in here, we did it the hard way. They've got it so easy on the planet right now. Well, finally, I just slammed my hand down on the book, stood up, and walked over to the group. And I said, yeah, they have some modern conveniences. They can do a shout with me where Shambra from all around the world can tap in, and they can record what they call their cloud classes, and they can easily print books these days. And yes, they have some modern conveniences right now, but shame on all of you, I said. Shame on you, because when you were on the planet, you were going through your realization. It wasn't so crazy. The planet wasn't so crazy. Things moved a lot slower. Now you have thousands and thousands of patents per day just in United States alone that are coming through. When you were going through your realization hundreds or thousands of years ago, there was hardly anything ever new created. Things were the same. Said it's fast and furious down there right now. And I don't know if you could possibly endure it, and just the amount of data, the amount of information, and the speed of which things are changing. I don't think any of you could really handle it. Well, they were still kind of snickering about this, and I thought to myself, well, I'll get to the real point here. And the real point was that I told them, when you were going through your realization, yes, it was difficult, as to a degree was mine. But there's one big difference between you and Shambra, and that is you left at realization. Oh, you maybe stayed a few days, a few weeks, or Kuthumi a few years, but the rest of you, you left right away. And this group isn't doing that. This group is staying on the planet. They don't have to. They could simply accept and allow their realization and leave, but they're staying, and they're staying in physical bodies that are in pain a lot. They're staying here having to deal with mass consciousness, which is changing at unprecedented speeds. They're staying on the planet and when things are really, truly crazy. They're not just bailing out. They didn't say, okay, I crossed the finish line, I got to my realization, and now I'm out of here. They're staying. And they're staying to do something that we call the Atlantean dream. They're staying to shine their light on the planet at a time when the planet absolutely needs it, like never before. They're staying to shine their light, and there are going to be some difficult days for them. There are going to be days where they have anxiety. There's going to be days where it's difficult to put up with other people in mass consciousness, but they're staying, and not just for a few weeks or a few days. They're going to stay for years, decades even, on the planet, and you didn't. I felt good inside. I was very clear, I was very firm. I wasn't smiling one bit like I am now. I felt good inside about laying it on them. The room felt silent. By this time, there were thousands of ascended masters gathered around, and every one of them was silent, not knowing how to take it. And then from the back of the room, far back of the room, you could hear one ascended master applauding. And pretty soon, there were 5, then 100, and then a few thousand, and pretty soon the whole hall at the Ascended Masters Club erupted in applause for you, for the work that you're doing. It was such a touching moment, I don't think I could ever forget. Such a touching moment when the whole Ascended Masters Club realized the importance of what you're doing. And sure, you have some modern conveniences, but there are also modern pains in the ass. I mean, social media, it has its good points, it has its bad points. The speed at which technology and medicine is changing, it has its good points, but it could have its bad points. The whole issue with artificial intelligence, which I'm going to talk about in Pronost, it has its great points, but it also has its very, very frightening points. Yes, indeed, things are easier in a way, but in another way, as each and every one of you know, it's as tough or tougher than ever. And I know from working with you, and Kuthumi knows from working with you, that your commitment is to stay here. And you don't have to, and as you know, those of you who have come to realization, that there does come that point. In your coming to realization, you're realizing that you're realized, no longer thinking about it or fighting it or trying to do it. You just realize that you're realized. There comes a point where you also know you don't have to stay. It's very, very seductive to leave. Very seductive, meaning that suddenly, if you leave, you don't have to contend with that physical body. You don't have to contend with the annoyance and the aggravation of other people or your families. You don't have to deal with the world just like it's up and down and spinning all around, and people are going crazy. I mean, literally, because of the speed at which things are changing. And it's not necessarily going to get better anytime soon. I'm not predicting any sort of crisis or any sort of catastrophes, but it's just going to accelerate faster and faster, and it'll be more and more difficult for people to contend with. And it's going to affect their minds first, and then eventually their bodies. But it'll affect their minds, their mental stability. And of course, what they do now is simply put them on medications, which really just flattens the mind. All the feelings, all the sensations, everything, all the drama and emotions are still there, but now they're masked, covered over by the medications. And as modern science has found out, you can be on these antidepressants. Oh, hello, dear Linda.
Hello.
Oh, you look lovely today.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, I could feel you behind me, just maybe kind of hinting to me that I'm walking on thin ground here and wondering if I'm going to overstep my bounds. But Linda will tell you before I do that this, all of what I'm saying is for entertainment value only.
You're okay so far. You haven't crossed the line.
Yeah,
Close.
Yeah.
Close.
The official disclaimer, but let's move beyond it.
No. You were okay.
Okay, good. Just caution me anytime.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That you feel I'm crossing the line so I could then cross it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good,
great,
good,
Adamus.
good.
Great. Good point.
So what happens is people are given these drugs, and there'd be more and more of them, and not just the antidepressants, but more and more use of things that you have right now on the planet, the opioids, anything to relieve the pain, and that's going to be more and more commonplace all across the planet because things are changing so quick. You live in unprecedented times, nothing like it before. Excuse me, I have to do my coffee. I love indulging in a little earth coffee when I come here. And I see they're actually making lattes here at the...
Oh, gourmet for
it's
you.
A gourmet, and it should be a good reason for anybody to come to a workshop here.
Heck yeah.
Feel into that for a moment, these unprecedented times on the planet, like never before. Nothing to compare it to. You can go back to the ancient times. You can go back to the indigenous peoples of the planet. You can go back to Atlantis, Lemuria, as far back as you want to go, and you're not going to find anything like this. Not even in the what would be the best of times in Atlantis. Had nothing like this in terms of the development of technology, the speed at which things are going, the changes that are literally erupting in the planet. And I use the word erupting, meaning there are so many changes in social systems, in financial systems, in the inventing process, in manufacturing. These are eruptions that are happening, and it's not a negative term. It just means it is happening so fast. It's difficult to keep your balance for the typical person. And that's why at the Ascended Masters Club, when they started talking about the Shambhala have it so easy, and they have all this guidance from Adamus, it's like, no, they don't have it easy. I know to a large degree of what you're going through right now on the planet. There's no other group that is going through what you are into realization. And at the same time, now really learning to go into your intuition, your Nost, rather than relying on the old functions of the mind. And that can be frightening. It takes a huge leap of trust in yourself to do that. With the mind trying to hold back, saying, no, you have to be logical. You have the whole issue of the light body right now, the light body coming in. The light body now being given the permission to come in by you. And Kuthumi goes into it in great detail in his Making Light Body. I'm delighted that he agreed to do that. But so much changing in your biology right now. At this whole time of the new human species. And although it sounds wonderful that the light body is coming in, it can be very difficult. It affects your physical body. And colliding with all this is the whole COVID issue, which I'll talk about in a moment, and then talk about a lot more when we do the Pronos 2022. But as the light body comes in, it sounds wonderful, but it has an effect on your physical body, and it brings anxiety in the mind. There's a lot of anxiety right now going on with Shambhala because of all the changes. So I give each and one of you credit. I will stand up for you at the Ascended Masters Club or any other place in all of creation to defend what you're doing and to help others understand what you're doing here on the planet right now. I give you my personal thanks for going through what you have been going through, for allowing yourself to be realized, allowing yourself to be an embodied master on the planet. I thank each and every one of you. It is not an easy task, but it is the Atlantean dream, and perhaps one of the most satisfying, beautiful things that you'll ever do. So let's take a good deep breath with that.
Dê sua contribuição consciente. Se chegou até aqui, inscreva-se, dê seu like, compartilhe, comente e obrigado por nos assistir.